All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Aussies taking over the NBA. Some pretty big news. We'd like to officially welcome all Cleveland fans to the Aussie mix again. Delhi going back
to his homeland where he won the chip.
That's it. I mean, it's good. He's going to get a lot of time there. Delhi in the trade, Bucks acquired George Hill, which is the biggest waste of $18 million the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
And Jason Smith in a 3-team deal with Washington, Cleveland. Milwaukee sent Delhi and John Henson, which I think is also a nice pickup for the Cavs.
Yeah. He's out with a wrist injury.
He's out with the
end of the season.
Yeah, but nice little pickup. I think he'll do well under Tristan Thompson as a backup.
Yep.
A future first-round pick and a 21-21 second-round pick. So I think the first-round pick is a 2021 as well.
Yep.
And the Milwaukee Bucks essentially acquired George Hill to release him as of the end of the year and Jason Smith because they needed to clear cap space for the Giannis max and potentially picking up Middleton if Middleton wants to stay on a bigger contract. So that's why they've done it. Delhi obviously not important and obviously Henson being out, they've got Connaughton and Thon Maker, so it just made sense. You've got two guys that you're not really using, and they've got some other depth around some two-way dealers. So big news, but welcome to the fold, Cavs. Cavs fans, if you're listening to the first time, we love Aussies. We are Aussies, and Delhi is going to do well for you. And in the first game, he did put up some season stats already, which is good to see in a big loss.
We'll go through that a little bit later.
We will.
The other thing, obviously, with the Bucks, John Henson's injury opened a little lane for Thon Maker to get some more game time. Yep. I think now with the trade, they're going to really get a big look at Thon Maker. I think he's going to go up to about 17 minutes a game.
Yeah, he'll be a complete rotation player.
With a view to offering in the playoffs, which he kind of did last year, which was good. He turned his game up.
He's a step up man.
But yeah, they're rumbling along nicely. Don't forget to subscribe. If you are listening to this on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, buddy.
Hit the like button. Send us a comment. Leave us a comment. You can always then go onto SoundCloud or iTunes and Pod Addict and your RSS feeder. Queue us up for later, but definitely subscribe to those and leave us a rating and review.
Please do.
So subscribe now if you're on YouTube. If you want to go over to iTunes, rate and review. It's really going to help us get us out there. And yes, please do that.
Indeed. We do this all free for the love of it.
Yes, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is. We love it.
So we're going to go through all the games now. Obviously, Knicks at Boston was the start of the end of the last pod. I think the next game was the Knicks and Boston. Baines was injured very early on in this game.
He did, but then they just blew out.
Yeah,
blew out the Knicks, who are kind of weirdly terrible.
Yeah,
like they've got some good individual. Like Kevin Knox is playing quite well in games. For a rookie, he's looking pretty good. Enes Kanter's playing well consistently.
Vonleh's playing quite well too,
but I just don't think they have no depth. And if you shut down Hardaway, it's pretty much game over, which Philly did. And I imagine Boston would have done it very easily as well. But Bainesy injured his shoulder. He's out for a little bit.
His foot. Kyrie Irving. So you tweaked an ankle. Kyrie Irving left this game with his shoulder.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, and he's still out.
And then I think Horford in the next game injured his shoulder. But
Hayward out with some hip soreness or something like that.
But they're winning games. I think they're on a 6-game streak.
Yeah,
now.
Because this is what I told you. They had to give those backups a minute. Man, Terry Rozier is your backup PG.
It's
insane.
It sucks that has to happen where guys start to go down for them to unlock some greatness. But sometimes that's how
Daniel
Theis
works.
Daniel Tice.
Tice. Is he German? He's playing some good minutes. He's German, He's German, yep.
Yeah.
Playing some good minutes at the 5 at the C spot, which is great. You got like a third depth center that can score 20 points a game. Boston are looking dangerous. The Bucks have
found their mojo.
They've found their mojo. And it's going to see Boxing Day Philly-Boston. It's going to be an epic blockbuster.
Definitely. I'll be driving to Canberra. Yeah, it's fun.
You have fun with that. Anyway,
not much we can really say about that game. There's a Bainesy injury. He's going to be out for a few. I kind of was like, no Bainesy, no party for me.
No Bainesy, no party. Just a weird lineup, watching some depth players play in non-rotational positions, getting some starts. Yeah. Smart and Morris looking pretty solid. They're going to they're going to come out. I can see Boston now getting a bit of a role even without Hayward and his brilliance needed.
I think they were always going to do that.
I think they needed to find their mojo and they found it, and they're going to go on a massive run. Mind you, we said that about Utah, and look at where it's got us.
So, on to the Jazz now.
Oh, they pumped the Rockets. Yeah, thank God. Good. And let's talk about Gobert's hilarious ejection.
So starting the game, he got given a foul off the jump ball. He fouled a guy, quote unquote, on the jump ball, which I thought was a ridiculous call.
You can't do that because unless you slap him in the head and don't go for the ball.
whack him intentionally or something. But it was just it didn't really look like there was anything that. So that started like that, and
then he got a bad call on Capella as well. I think
it was Harden.
Oh, that's right.
Harden came sort of up and under him, and he just in the post just threw himself on the ground. 6-1 half flopping. Just a bit of flopping, and then was upset with that, and he walked over to leave the game, smashed the chalk on the thing, it was, and then I think Roz Goldon-Woode, the ESPN commentator, was sitting there either looking at her phone or doing something on the bench, looks up crazy, this guy just smashed this thing right in front of him. But I can't handle the way the Rockets do that sort of thing, man. It's just, and Harden especially, the guy's so talented, from the MVP, they're a star of the game. Why do they need to do this, man?
Because they're losing.
It's just
they're losing,
so
and they're a
cheap.
terrible team. And I hope they stay exactly where they are, second last.
And I hope they burn in hell. But
Chris Paul's horrible. He's horrible to watch.
I can't handle it, man. Part of that loss last year, that they lost obviously to the Warriors, they were so scummy during that series, elbowing people, bumping people. Every time he got matched onto Curry, he'd just bump into him as hard as he could. And he's just is that really necessary, bro? Come on. You obviously they had a great team last year. They're struggling this year. They've kind of fallen apart. So I expect the level of pettiness to start to ramp up.
I think when they bring the ultimate grub in J.R. Smith on, who they are looking at bringing J.R. Smith into the fold, because they're struggling. No one wants to go to Houston. No one wants to play with them. So they've got to bring another grub in. They're bringing J.R. Smith. I don't know who they're going to get. Probably picks. Cavs will get picks out of it, I'd say. Yeah. Well, that's what you'd only go for. You're not going to trade any of your players, and I don't think Houston wants anyone else but JR. So that's $20 million off your books and a few picks. I think that's good coming into next year, and the Cavs are slowly getting better.
So one of the main things about that Gobert ejection, the same sorts of things are happening to Clint Capella and that Houston team, where teams are starting to work out, all right, we just get this guy out of the way, and he becomes basically useless. In a switching offense, they're struggling to defensive rebound, the Rockets, because Tucker and Gordon are 6'4" chub kegs. They're not long athletic type players that play like that. The whole reason for their defensive schemes last year was the fact that Tucker and Gordon were those chubby players
would box out, and then you'd get Ariza and
get the rebound, Ariza, and they'd all gang rebound. Now I think teams have worked it out. You've seen Jazz this year, Gobert, all right, we just pull him, and we'll talk about Spurs Jazz after this a bit later. The same sorts of thing happened. And then it just becomes, the game grinds to a halt with fucking James Harden. He just stands there on the ball for 7, 8, 9 seconds, crosses up, dribbles, charges in, and then just throws his head back. Oh, he either gets a foul or bricks a shot. And it's fuck, man, it's so hard to watch. I can't handle it. And then, Chris Paul will bail him out with the mid-range. He kind of still struggling. He thinks that he's taking it easy, but I don't know, man. It kind of looks like he's getting a bit old.
He's got, 4 years after this on the max?
Yeah, well, that's what we said at the start of the season.
This is going to be a Carmelo effect. I don't think Carmelo was the problem there. I think Carmelo added something that had a little bit of size into the mix. I mean, you're not going to win. I think we've established... Yeah. It's a shame. I really want to see Carmelo go to a team like potentially the Cavs or the Suns or someone, and be that veteran voice of reason, because he's a great legendary player. Yeah, he's not what he used to be, but he still averaged 13.7 points per game at Houston in the time he was there.
Okay, so you mean?
No, at Houston.
Oh, Houston at Houston. Sorry,
in the 12 games
this season. Yeah.
So that's not horrible numbers. I can think of some players that are getting paid, more that are way less. Ryan Anderson's one of them.
Well, I just don't understand. It's almost like he became a locker room problem. And I was like, just get this guy out of here. Well, anyway, Rockets.
Rant over. Jazz winning. Let's see what Joe did. Joe Jingling, Joe man. Yeah. 18 points, good game. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks.
I think I got that right. Just looking through now to see who he blocked. Maybe I got that wrong.
No, 2 blocks. Anyway, Exum, 22 minutes, 15 points, had a much better game.
Yeah, he's looking a lot better, a lot more robust in his play. He's looking a little bit quicker too, which is good.
He should have a little bit more confidence in his knees and his glutes and his ankles, which seem to have failed him over the first couple of seasons. But he had a plus 24 on the night. Korver's taking his minutes away in certain situations, but I think Exum against the Jazz, he guards Harden really well.
Yeah.
He's so long.
His one-on-one defense is really, really good.
Yeah, it is. He's not one of those guys that's great at switching, but he can lock down a player.
Yeah.
And when you just Harden, when everything's failed and Capella's getting monstered by Gobert, not in this game, but if Capella's getting monstered by another big center, Exum can lock down Harden all game.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, is efficiency.
It was 2 turnovers, not 2 blocks, so I failed there. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Moving on now to the 76ers, back to the East. The Pistons, so 76ers Pistons won.
And this was at home. Blake Griffin was in the house for this game, the first of 2 against the Pistons. Ben Simmons played really well.
Yeah,
40 minutes, 18 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Defensively this game, he was a monster.
He's still rocking the headband too, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think Jimmy's thrown the headband away.
Out.
What's up with
maybe
that?
It's a Ben Simmons thing.
Yeah,
he's
good.
Just like, I'm going to bring this back in, or he's just sick of sweating all over his face. But yeah, defensively, behemoth. He just got into the right spot. Bolden had two insignificant minutes, but Bolden's been sent back to the G League.
Yeah, which is good.
I don't know what they're trying to do with him.
Didn't he have that injury?
Yeah, he had that injury. He played for Delaware a couple of days ago, scored 10 points, didn't have a great game. But he just needs to get back into some game time, man. Jimmy Butler was fantastic this game, 38 points. Embiid was sat out. Coach's decision, did not play.
Yeah.
Needed a bit of a break, I think. Get his mind back into it after some disappointing performances. And he does come out in the next game and has a relatively good scoring game. But again, a little bit down from what he was doing 10 games ago. You have to remember, though, Embiid's first full year, he's played every game up. He's never done that before. And he's going to get tired. Like, your body's not going to know what hit it.
And even like, if you think about that, what he's done already this season is impressive to me.
Oh, God,
Looking in contrast with how he's played in the last couple of years, you're thinking, wow, his first rest has come 30 games into the season. Like, wow, that's a lot better this season. Plus, he's been doing a lot more too, like having more of an impact on the game at both ends. To know that his body's holding up is, for me, a surprise. Not a surprise, but it's good. Good stuff. Like, he's really traveling along nicely.
Well, I think the other thing as well is that, maybe he's getting a bit tired, but that's just fatigue because he's a big man playing 38 minutes a game. He's playing a lot of minutes. They need to bring those down, unfortunately. Look, Muscala this game played so well. 18 points. Had big plays down the run. I think he was on 5 fouls and got 2 blocks.
Oh, wow.
Towards the end. Amir Johnson fouled out in 16 minutes. It was really just the Blake Griffin back down show. It was just he's so hot. I understand he's a good player, but he's fucking horrible to watch.
Yeah, it's just such a grimy game too.
And Blake Griffin turns his back and starts backing down. Oh, and he's turned around and tried to dunk and been fouled. It's just like he's going to the line.
Yeah, and then next play down, he drops steps, he steps left, right, and puts up a sketchy hook. Yeah. He steps left, right, and then left again, sketchy hook. Like, I
think 18 out of his 22 points towards the third quarter were free throws.
Wow.
It's just horrible. Horrible to watch. Just a train wreck. But yeah, Ben Simmons, like, you can take a look at Ben Simmons. No center in the game, 14 rebounds. The guy can play 1 through 5.
Yeah, did you
which
play
is incredible.
Play a lot of defensive rebounding?
A lot of defensive rebounding.
A lot of offensive rebounds.
Offensing, glass crashing.
Jimmy Butler as well, 5 offensive boards.
Yeah, those 2 play well together.
That's what I was trying to say to you, man. I hope that some of Jimmy Butler rubs off onto Ben Simmons, because if he can make Ben Simmons a better deep on-ball defender and a tandem defender, scheme defender, man, it's going to be great for us, for Australia.
Yeah. Yep.
And Philly, obviously,
But yeah,
for you.
Detroit actually blew a 15-point lead in the third quarter and just went completely cold. But again, it was based on some fantastic defense from Muscala and also from Simmons. JJ was good. JJ's always good. And Philly had 30 points off 18 Detroit turnovers.
Yeah, it's a lot of turnovers for Detroit.
They were pretty rubbish. We'll move on to the Lakers Spurs. And the Spurs, 3-1, I think, against the Lakers this year.
Yeah.
Seems to be the Lakers' bogey team. I think.
Well, they lost just before we finished that last podcast. They lost that game.
They lost that game. I think they've played their series now. I think they've played 4 games against each other. But it seems that Coach Pop outclassed LeBron.
Yeah, well, that Lakers team is such a grind sometimes. It just, out of nowhere, they can just grind to a halt and struggle, and you just like, you were flying 5 minutes ago. What's going on here?
I think they get a little bit over the top in terms of the flashiness, and then some of the Lonzo Ball hilarity and just missing, and then they just make dirt decisions sometimes, and it takes LeBron's minutes. And you notice when LeBron minutes fall down, they tend to lose. It's only when he gets up around 38, 40 minutes. Patty had 14 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, plus 16 on the night, getting to the line.
Yeah, 4 or 5 from the line, which is good to see him getting to the line.
Very good to see. DeRozan had a great night, 36 points, 9 assists, and Spurs had 8 players scoring double figures. James had a blinder, 35 points, 11 assists and 8 rebounds. He is starting to heat up now, and he's starting to look very much like the LeBron down the stretch last year. I think if they can manage his minutes and just get them to the finals, get them to that 45 win, 50 win mark in the West.
Well, it's almost like he wants to just keep going and going and going and going.
He does. He can't do it though. His body's going to give out sometime. Like, you have to remember, D Wade is finishing up. Like, all the class of 2003 are gone. He's the only one left, and he's still max level. Like, he is that level. He's a top 3 player in the NBA.
Well, it feels like the Lakers are trying to hold him and restrict him and say, hey, settle down.
Luke Walton is, but he's not having a bar of it.
Well, even Magic Johnson, I've heard him say, like, we can't have this guy playing 40 minutes a night. It's wearing him out if we make the finals, But it's like, it doesn't suit his game to do that. Like,
no.
And it feels like he wants to do it, but at the same time, he starts to get rusty and starts to struggle. And
he always goes
how
through.
How do you manage that? That's crazy.
Just after Christmas, he always goes through a bit of a rough patch with his shooting, and he's just like, all right, give me the ball. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to have 27 attempts this game and get my shooting back into rhythm. Kuzma's looking good, man. 27 points. He's looking like the Lakers' number 2 at the moment. Ingram's falling flat a bit. I see Ball he's a weird player. He's such a weird player. Like, his stats lines are terrible, but it doesn't reflect what he actually does to the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's like a late to the party type player. You know what I mean? He always turns up a bit late and plays well, and then he turns up late again, and then he's playing all right. And it's like, he never seems to be on time. Like, you're right here, you're playing well, you're doing good things for the team. He had that game a couple of weeks ago where he just heated up in the fourth. I think he hit like 4 from 6 in the fourth to basically get him to a win.
Yeah.
But then since then, it's just been a bit sloppy. It's been like all over the place, and it looks like it doesn't fit again. It's really strange because on ball defensively, he's solid.
Yeah.
It just doesn't quite fit into the scheme with like LeBron and
he's one of those. It's kind of like the Ben Simmons point guard. But he can't play the 1 through 5. That Ben's saving grace is that in transition he's so deadly. Lonzo's not that good in transition.
No. And he's 6'10",
he's 6'10" and helps.
Simmons,
and Lonzo's not that side, but he guarded 1 through 5. But they're the same. They're essentially the same identical player. They understand the game. They run the floor quite well. They pass quite well. It's just Lonzo's 5 inches shorter. I think he's 6'5".
It's almost like he can't quite run a conventional offense properly.
No.
And then he starts to try and fit this offense, and you're like, you don't really fit, mate. Like, it's not working. Like, you're not a fit into the offense player. Let's redesign the offense. Oh no, but it's the Lakers, and we got JaVale, we got LeBron, we got Lance Stevenson. We can't just redesign the offense for this guy anymore. Sorry. And then like it just kind
of fits in and plays. He plays a bit of 2 as well. I see when LeBron kind of plays that point forward, he kind of plays into the 2, and he's just like standing there. Yeah, so that's not your game, man. Your game is get that ball in your hand and get LeBron open, or set the screens. Like, he's a really good screen setter as well.
And even even last year, like he was giving the ball up a lot, which was weird. Like really early in sets, he just give the ball up and stand around. And you just be like, what are you doing? Like you need to take the ball and make a play with it. Now that LeBron's there, it seems to just have magnified that same problem. But the Spurs obviously marching on, which was good. They are kind of struggling. I think they're still.
I think they're 12 and 15. Oh yeah, they're coming 13th, but that means nothing. I think we're going to see the last 5 games like the scrap, and maybe Coach Pop can pull them through.
It just looks like they can't score enough, man. It's really
when DeRozan has a quiet game, they struggle. We'll move on, and the Warriors Steph Curry, back and winning again. They're the first team to hold the Bucks to 100 this season. Thon had 12 minutes and 2 points with 2 rebounds and a -7 on the night. No Draymond Green, but the big 3 were there: Durant, Clay, and Curry. Iguodala played really well this game.
He was fantastic. It was like,
it's like, who is this guy?
Somebody told him it was the playoffs in this game, and he turned it on. But usually if his shot's dropping, that's a big indicator that the Warriors are going to play well and win. I don't feel like Giannis played that well in this game. No. He just looked... like I wrote here, like this team's got to stare into the eyes of the demon and come up and win, but it's not quite there yet. Like
they've kind of got really hot, and now they're hot and cold again.
Yeah,
I think they're about 8-9 or 8-8 since that big run at the beginning of the season. And they beat Toronto recently. We're going to get through that.
That was a good win. Yeah.
No Kawhi, I don't think though.
Yeah, and I think this style is always going to beat the lowly teams. They're going to blow teams.
Yeah, they're going to blow teams. And if Lopez is kind of gone cold, which has stopped a lot of their offensive efficiency and their pace as well. So I think they've still got it, but it's
of course, yeah. But it's like I said, it feels like they haven't stared and chased the dragon yet. They haven't conquered the hill, which makes them know and understand how good they really are. Yeah. It still feels like they're still running to the destination and trying to play like that. That'll beat the lower teams, but if a team comes up against you and it's a hard wall, like the Warriors struggled in the first game they played where they smashed them, and they were still running at that point. They just kind of ran past them and were like, you can't catch us. In this game, they hit the wall and went, oh, okay, what do we do now then? Yeah. So... it takes a couple of seasons for that to really kick in. Like I saw that in the Warriors in 2014, where they played the Clippers, and you just kind of felt like, oh no, we can't, where do we go from here? Like, what do we do? And then suddenly the next season it clicked. They got over the hump, and that's when suddenly you're like, they've been there, they've done that, they've been through the fire, they know what it's like. Whereas this Bucks team, it still feels like they have to go through that fire.
Well, I just don't think they get enough good matchups in the East as well to really push them. It's the same with Philly. They seem to get to Toronto and the Celtics and like, fuck, we don't know how to win. Like, we don't know how to beat them away from home.
It becomes less about the rhythm and more about, having to stop and punch on with someone, and you just hope you can knock them out. Yeah. And if you can't, you got to try and avoid the shots and stay in it. And these offenses aren't set up to do that yet. No. And the Bucks especially aren't really. Like, they're running well, but they're not really set up to once they hit the wall.
Yeah, once those threes aren't dropping, it's like, how do we get, all right, it's either Giannis. I think something like Malcolm Brogdon has also picked up. Bledsoe didn't play very well in this game.
I think once you get everyone out of the way of Brogdon, that's when he comes into his own. And in this game, Giannis just didn't want to do a lot of physical stuff, which is not like him. That's unusual. I felt like he was out of rhythm and getting in his own head physically. Like, he wasn't getting those catches deep where he just pops and drops and then bang, he just dunks on people. He wasn't getting that. And that's another sort of aspect of the Warriors that they're really good at, doing those sorts of things, those really X and O's fundamental things that throw you off a game. Ilyasova was pretty funny in this game as well. He airballed and then had 2 really sketchy offensive fouls back to back. And then he tried to defend this other one, and he got pretty much dunked all over by Jordan Bell. And I was just like, oh, not having a good
He's coming back from an injury, though. He's been out for a bit, so probably not playing the best at the moment. But we know Illy is the class of LeBron as well, I think. 2003? I think
so, yeah. Yes.
Yes, I think so. He's one of the few left.
I think same as Bogut, actually. I think Ilyasova.
Oh, yeah, he's Bogut's 05?
The year after, I think. Yeah, we should do research on this, but we don't. I was looking at the box score, and Middleton didn't really play all that well. He took 14 shots. Lopez 1 of 6. When his three doesn't drop, it seems like and off the bench, obviously Ilyasova, Thonmaker, Pat Connaughton.
Connaughton's gone completely cold.
Yeah, just struggling. Where like the real physical edge he was playing with at the start of the season seems to be gone too as well. Tony Snell didn't play that well either, and those are the impact guys for them, the Bucks. Yeah. Those are the guys.
This was a home game for the Warriors as well, wasn't it?
No, it was in Milwaukee.
It was in Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That makes it even more...
It makes it even strange. Like, you think that the Bucks fans would have brought them home.
And, so Thon I still feels like he's stuck in between a guard and a forward, his body.
Yeah.
He's probably a little bit too slow to be a guard and probably not sized enough to be a forward, and it's in between. It's hard on a team like this Bucks team to go from we're playing traditional pick and roll and we're going to set up an offense to basically have two big men play in a tandem to, right, we're giving the ball to one guy, everyone get out of the way, he drives and kicks and you just shoot three, sweet, no worries. It feels like he's struggling to do what he does well, which is stand there, wait and hunt and time shots, time blocks shots. And it doesn't suit him, man. He just feels, I'm trying not to go, man, it's like he's starting to really struggle and put shit on him, but I think he's at a bit of a crossroads with the way this Bucks team is going. Don't think it suits the way he plays.
No.
He doesn't seem to get into threes, to get into the position to shoot threes that well in this setup. Last year he was getting in position, mainly from the trail out and from running actual screen and pop action. But they don't run it when Giannis is out there like that.
No.
It's kind of get out of the way and wait for him to drive and draw a double team and that guy's open, shoot.
Yeah, kick.
So anyway, we'll move on to the next game.
And the Rockets chunked. No broke off in that game, but we got to talk about Luka. Luka he's playing point guard at the moment with Dennis Smith Jr. out.
Yeah.
And
they're on a 6-game unbeaten streak as well.
He's just killing it at point guard.
Great.
He's just like the Ben Simmons, but can shoot. Like, can do everything. A little bit less of an athlete in terms of...
So crafty, man.
Just crafty.
Crazy.
Like that European craft.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm just going to step back. He's got the Harden step back.
Yeah.
And does it better than Harden, I think, as well. It's a lot. It creates a lot more distance between him and the player. And everyone's like, well...
It's like a jump back almost. Yeah. Even that... Because he obviously had those 11 points down the end of that game... That layup he finished over Tucker, where basically he feinted Tucker that he was going for the layup, and then basically stopped and had enough time to just kind of put up like a little floater. That was like, that's next level shit that you don't see.
For a rookie?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
and kind of smooth action, not wow, power finish. He really went by that guy and
it's not like LeBron, like I'm just going to muscle my way.
It was like smooth. And I turned that game on. I think they were down. I think I sent you a text like, oh, the Mavs are going to lose here. They were down by about 8. And then I watched that all the way through to the end, which is like, nice.
Yeah, man. Doncic is looking like definitely the Rookie of the Year player.
I'm dubbing him Luka Big Balls Doncic.
He tends to like playing against the Rockets as well, which is nice. We'll move on to the next game. The Celtics Bulls. And the Bulls are just fucking terrible. Like, they are trash. Their coach is
I got one right at least. Yeah. Fuck, I called them being the worst in the East, I think.
Yeah, they are. Well, I think there's going to be a massive player revolt. Their coach wanted them to, after a back-to-back, to get in and do sprints.
Well, I think they sacked Hoiberg, didn't they?
They sacked Hoiberg, but then they've got their new coach.
The interim guy. I don't even know who that is.
He's not liked. And there was a player revolt where players came in, didn't train, and called the association because after a back-to-back they were required to do a full day's training and shit like that.
Well, if you're losing and you don't want the team to lose, like, suck it up, man.
No, man, they're fully on the tank-a-thon. Look, they've got good scoring options. They just can't defend.
They can't defend at all. Zach LaVine is your main scorer and he can't defend. Jabari Parker wasn't known as a great defender. You know, if they brought in some defensive pieces at the start of the year, then maybe. They got some guys out too. Markkanen's been out.
Yeah, he was out again. He played well. He came back and played well, and then it didn't play in this game. It's hilarious. Even Michael Jordan's like, fuck, I can't save that team.
Yeah, I couldn't come back and save this team. Fucking hell. Prime Jordan, I don't think could.
No.
Markkanen didn't play in this game. 3 out of 10.
Daniel Tice with a plus 50 on the night. So he eclipses Robert Covington's plus 44.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And goes to plus 50. What a absolute behemoth against a terrible Robin Lopez.
Oh man, he just. I think we said before, didn't we? Like the contrast between Lopez's.
Yeah.
Brooke Lopez looks like an actual NBA player now.
Yeah.
Robin Lopez just looks like.
It looks like a guitarist that. Yeah, it's just
stoner rock band or something.
Yeah, it's like, man, I'm playing some basketball to follow my dreams.
It's crazy. He llooks like such a Bob with that mustache.
Oh, it's horrible. All right, we'll move on to the Bucks' good win against the Raptors. I do not believe there was. Kawhi was in this game. Ibaka had 22. Kawhi had 20 for the Raptors. Rather quiet for that night. But Thon, 8 minutes, 5 points, 50% from 3 blocks. Doing what Thon loves doing best. He loves that block. He's such a block hunter.
That's what I mean, and I don't think this style really suits that type of player.
It suit him to be like the 4 and 5 with Bogut. That rim would be so protected.
Yeah, dude, that'd be so good. And then maybe like your 3 is someone who's Chubb.
Yeah.
Just not Goulding.
Nah, he's not Chubb enough though.
Nah, yeah, someone who could like Mitch Creek or someone like that.
Mitch Creek, like a Chubb small, and just like powering awesome, out. Yeah, I like that. Let's play that.
This is where I was trying to say, where the game becomes a vortex in a big on like a big team on big team, like it's a crunch type atmosphere. It's not that rhythm type, just running, trashing a team. That's where Thon excels, where he can. They're running a lot of sets. The game becomes tight. Both teams want to win.
A lot of timeouts. A lot of breaking it down and just not getting out there and trying to run into a spot and chunk up shots. He's very
active defensive. Like he's active. Like he's moving around, always like trying to look for different things here and there. That's why he gets those blocks, because he's trying to hunt and time those blocks. Just doesn't suit the way they play. But a big win anyway for the Bucks. Toronto, they kind of cooled off a little bit.
Not really. Like a
little bit.
I mean, for a team that lost DeRozan, picked up Kawhi, they're still winning games without Kawhi. I think Van Fleet's looking really good. I think he had 14 assists last game.
Yeah.
Today or yesterday. Siakam, what a great pick. What a great story from the G League, who's just killing it. He's so quick in transition. He can go from 0 to 100 like 1 second flat. Lowry's having a really good season. He's leading assists. I think he's averaging 10 a game.
He didn't play well in this game. He had no points.
No points, which is hilarious, but still.
5. But he's playing less of a scoring ball handling guard, and more of a facilitator.
He's a facilitator. Yeah. Although I think today he played the 2 spot and shot quite well, and then let Van Fleet just dish the city. So they got some depth.
Yeah, and wrinkles. Where I said Utah had heaps of wrinkles and it's kind of just fallen flat. Yeah. This Toronto team has actual, the roster depth turns into different aspects of their offense and defense.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not just like a Bucks where you take Giannis out of that team and suddenly it's like, oh, we've got to just change the entire way we play.
Yeah.
So a good win for them though. Very good.
And we move on to the Jazz and the Spurs. Battle of the bottom. Aussie on Aussie crime,
mate.
The Jazz, very all out of sorts. Just Ingles not hitting points.
He's so up and down this year. It's really bizarre.
Like, you watch how they played last year, and I think they played OKC yesterday. He's not getting to spots early. He's not in the corner. He's trying to facilitate plays because Rubio is either scoring or doing nothing. I mean, you've now got Korver in there, and he's almost trying to facilitate Korver now. And it's just, you're not a point guard. Don't play the point forward. You get to your spot. You're a 45% shooter in the open. Get there early. You play your best is when you play on the perimeter and play a 4-5 or 3-5 pick and roll with Gobert. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
I think because Mitchell is just Jack City, or it's either jacking up shots and then going.
Have a look at this. Rubio 11 of 23 in this game. Mitchell 8 of 21.
They've scored. Why is Rubio taking 23 shots?
It's because I saw Ingles as well in this game give up 2 open shots too, and I'm like, Joe, mate, shoot that. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Why are you then tossing it back out to Rubio who takes the 3? He made the 3, but I'm like, Joe, mate,
that's yours. That's yours.
So he's kind of struggling. Dante Exum only had 3 minutes, a turnover and a foul.
They're only playing Exum. It seems like they're playing Exum high minutes against effective opposition point guards.
Yes.
That seems to be
on-ball type stuff.
On-ball players where he can defend well and be that dribble drive and kick because he's the same speed, but he's like lankier and quicker. But it seems like when, the Spurs who kind of play like a Chubb point guard.
Yeah.
They don't play him. I don't know why. I don't know what Quinn Snyder's thinking.
It's kind of like a matchup thing where they match him onto similar size guys.
But he's 6'6". Like, he's going to be bigger than most guards. I mean, he's not a 2. He really is a point guard. He needs to get his shooting a lot better, and then I think he could play the 2 quite well because one, he's defensively brilliant and can lock down plays. He can defend the 3-point line efficiently. He's not great, but he can defend it efficiently. He's just got to get that 3 ball happening in his mid range instead of this kind of just over driving.
Yeah. So you're right. Like they don't seem to matching up on smaller guards that much. He defends the bigger guards, and then he does well. And then when he kind of comes off the floor, if there's a smaller guard. And back to the Gobert. This was, if you want to see a great illustration of how to get Gobert out of the paint and just totally destroy the Jazz defense. This LaMarcus just put on an absolute clinic. Never basically going down low, only ever catching and dribbling into the paint, standing at the elbow, basically running pick and roll with Bryn Forbes popping out to the elbow, wide open every time. Gobert was always a step slow. Just an absolute clinic, like watching. Yeah. This is where you go, okay, I like watching LaMarcus do stuff like this.
This is a pop coaching extravaganza. This is where Popovich is going to be great. Against a team that also thinks tactically. Yeah. If you get him if you get Popovich against a bunch of psychos that just throw shit everywhere, he's got no idea because he can't run anything against it. You know, that's what he's going to really, really struggle against. Like a Lakers setup that.
Yeah, it's kind of scramble
offense and like, you know, big man down low. I'd like to see the Spurs up against Philly. I think that'll be an interesting matchup to see how he handles a team that, you know, runs a lot of offense but also runs a lot of ball play, a lot of passing.
That's in January they play their first game.
Which would be nice.
Aussie on Aussie crime in that game too, don't forget.
We shall see, yes. We shall see.
It's just the Jazz, man. They're just so up and down. I keep saying it.
But mind you,
it's hard to watch.
They will go on a run at some stage. I think so. I think the Clippers will drop. I think the Clippers are looking like they're going to start dropping down.
Maybe
West.
Memphis as well.
You know, it's so early in the season.
I know.
We forget how long this bloody season is. All right, we'll move on to the Pistons and the 76ers, and there was no Blake, so no worries. Easy win. Yeah. Simmons, 18 points, 2 from 9 from free throw, which is fucking woeful.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's got to make those free throws, man.
10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, a block, and plus 21 on the night. Special mention to Furkan Korkmaz.
Yeah, Furkan Korkmaz.
Played really well this game. He's a good shooter. You know,
I think he's like an all-round.
He's an all-round small forward.
Offensive player.
He's a smooth offensive player. Maybe a little bit wanting on the defense. But you know, is a piece man. He's definitely good. He's most of Philly's team comes out of contract this year, so it'd be interesting to see going down the season what happens with good old Furkan, who was very unhappy for a little bit there, but he's a good 3-ball shooter. I like him as part of the team. Embiid was playing well. 24 points, 8 rebounds. Good to see him get back and score some points. Hadn't gotten above 20 for about 3 games. Didn't rebound, but didn't need to. Yeah. And I think he played a bit more of that back down kind of role against Drummond, and Drummond had a bit more to answer this game. I think Drummond had about 17 rebounds, a little bit more to answer, and but Ben Simmons, man.
That's where Embiid gets up for these types of games when there's a mirror match going on and he wants to dominate, gets him in the mood and he really gets going. Also gets, I think, like with Simmons, it gets him in the mood too because he can run that pick and roll. He can let Embiid finish plays.
It doesn't seem like Simmons has like an arch enemy. It's kind of funny.
Nah, it's weird, isn't it?
Like
it's
Embiid's
like a robot or something.
Yeah, he's a metronome.
Yeah.
Just keeps turning up, doing the same thing each game, and it kind of gets them across the line 66% of the time.
No headband from Jimmy again in this game.
Well, Jimmy was gone.
Yeah, what happened?
Groin strain. So he's had the MRI, no tears, nothing seen. He's listed as doubtful against Brooklyn. I'd say he'll probably have a couple of game rest and come back.
Just chill out.
Just chill out. I mean,
the front end loaded the season with a lot of wins, so it's all good.
And we front end loaded the season with a lot of games. Like we're coming into a slower period. We can have a bit of rest and you can have a bit of time off. We're still well and above most teams in terms of game volume. We got a back-to-back coming up as well. So Embiid was really good. It went back to some old Simmons and Embiid, and
was that good to see?
Yeah, man. I always enjoy the the core or the process in full flight. getting some TJ time. I hate to say it, man. TJ is a great backup point guard. I like him.
You hate to say it.
Hate to say it.
Why do you hate to say it?
Because he gets a lot of hate because he's
people hate the shit out of him. Remember I said I was gonna get you that shirt?
Yeah, I love TJ McConnell, man. Yeah. There's nothing but love for this dude. Like, again, great, undrafted, comes into the team and just can lift a team. He's just a good pocket pincher,
hustle guy.
Gets into good spaces, can shoot the jumper. It's not really an elbow. It's kind of this weird over the head flick.
Yeah, it's like a whip shot.
Yeah, it's a very high. I think it's just trying to get that arc. It's kind of funny because you think he's like this 5'3" midget. He's actually 6'2".
Yeah.
But in a team of giants, which Philly are, it's a bit of a small fry.
Yeah, JJ not playing that well in this game. He had 3 of 12.
Yeah, but again,
I think it was in this game or the other game where he hit this like running at full speed stop and 3-pointer. Just insane how he just stops on a dime. Like he's in full flow and then just stops. And
I like the run down the corner three. Where he's that's like,
the one. I think that was the
one.
He's
just jumping in motion and the three.
And he's kind of like going sideways almost all in one motion. Yeah, that's insane to see him shoot those.
Man, he's having another career year. It's just crazy. He just keeps getting better and better. Next game, Pels and Celtics. Bainesy still out with a left shank. This is the game where pretty much everyone was out. Horford was out. Hayward was out. Irving was out. Bainesy was out.
Yeah.
And
somehow they won.
They managed to win quite convincingly as well. Morris got a season high 31 points. Tatum another 21. Tatum's just a good stock standard power forward. Davis scored 41. Randall had 20. I don't know how the Pels lost this game against the Dev. But again, Daniel Tice playing well at the 5 spot. Terry Rozier, man, he took Philly to town in the playoffs last year. Kind of almost like that Isaiah Thomas kind of figure,
Which one? The old school Pistons Isaiah or
no, the new school
Isaiah?
Celtics Isaiah.
5'12".
He's 5'10".
5'10".
Shortest NBA player ever to record a triple-double.
Oh, wow.
There's some NBA facts for you.
Yeah, nice. Dropping some knowledge.
Just dropping the knowledge on the dime.
Anthony Davis, 17 of 34.
50%.
34 shots.
Yeah, man. Taking that volume.
Holy moly.
Jaylen Brown looking good again, 19. And Williams, in the longest appearance of his career, had 7 points and 11 rebounds.
Robert
good on
Williams,
him. Yep. 2 block shots.
He blocked Davis twice.
Twice in Davis, 3 blocks in total.
Yeah. Wow.
And finally, welcome to the Cavs.
Yes. Aussie on Aussie crime.
Officially, old teammate on old teammate crime.
And there was some actual Aussie on Aussie crime in this game. I think Delhi scored a couple of times on Thon, and then I think Thon kind of had a sketchy and one finish over the top of Delhi too. Delhi kind of collapsed into the paint. He wasn't really trying to defend it, but I'm sure he would have thrown it down all over Delhi if he had the chance to.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to the Cavs, mate. Tough team to watch this year. It's a shame that LeBron's not there. But
Kevin Love's been out as well, man. You're missing a really pivotal piece. You've had some off-field antics with J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
But I think you've added really good pieces. You've added Alex Burks. Colin Sexton, I think, is going to be a good point guard from years to come. You've got Delhi, who's a fantastic backup, runs up a backup team. And he's already given you offense. 16 minutes, 11 points.
Yeah. 2
rebounds and 4 assists. Like, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Thonatron had 6 points. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. But again, I would expect Milwaukee to get up in this game kind of fairly easily. And they led by as much as 26 in the third quarter. But I think Sexton had a quite a good fourth quarter and scored 14 points and brought it back into the deficit zone.
And then Giannis sat out, I think, this game with a head injury of some type. I believe it was. I did write it down, but we're real pros on this podcast. We
pro city.
We miss out
pro city
critical information when it's needed.
Bledsoe returning some form, 4 from 5 from 3, and the Bucks starting to roll from 3-point land again.
I think this offense without Antetokounmpo, it's totally different. It's completely different, and against the crap teams, they're going to be able to just 180 and skid and go the other way with this offense. But against the better teams, I think they're going to struggle trying to do that. And watching Lopez trying to run pick and roll for some pick and pops was good to see. Like Bledsoe was using him a little bit. That was good. And then the space that Bledsoe was able to operate in, like it didn't quite. Well, it wasn't like you could tell it was like, oh shit, we got to learn how to play again. Like this is a bit different. Oh wait, I'm putting it to you in the corner. Yeah, I remember how to do that now. Like it was still a bit of a stuttery performance.
Just not looking for Antetokounmpo to drive and just like, oh, I've got 3 guys free because I've just drawn 3 defenders into the paint to try and do something against me, even though it doesn't work.
He's got the ball and he's 12 feet from the hoop. Everyone just get out of the way and stand there and wait, and hopefully you get the open shot. George Hill in this game played 13 minutes. I think that was his first outing. For the Bucks. Yeah.
And what a terrible 13 minutes it was.
Yeah, not a big fan of George Hill.
I do not like that guy whatsoever. So they're like, we've added a 38% 3-point piece. He takes 1 shot every 6 games. Of course, it's like saying, oh yeah, Amir Johnson's 45% on the season. He's taken 6 shots this year, or 7 shots and drained 4. Like, just, I think I read on like a Bucks Nation, thing. It's just like, yeah, we've added a really good 3-point piece in George Hill. I was like, have you seen this guy play fucking basketball?
He got destroyed in that final series last year. That's the only time I really watched him, was that finals last year.
It's just terrible.
And that trade in general, man, when you go back to that trade they made, Crowder, Isaiah Thomas, and was it someone else for Nance, Clarkson, and George Hill, and it's just like, God, what were you doing? It's kind of like that turned, like it wasn't really LeBron leaving that turned the Cavs into this 6-21 team.
It was just some terrible moves. I think LeBron just...
It was those moves that kind of turned that roster into like a bit of a, oh wait, we've kind of just got the dregs of the NBA here. Like, damn, we don't really have something we can build around. Like, I mean, Clarkson... Yeah.
They're since the bong water of the NBA.
Fuck, if we had any Cleveland fans, then we don't anymore after we're just ragging on their team.
Hey, I've got love. I've got love for Love. I've got love for...
Yeah, I like Love, and I like...
Sexton and look, Tristan Thompson, he's a great center.
Chetty Osman, I like watching, but obviously he's raw as well. And some of these guys, like Chetty Osman, even I like Larry Nance Jr.
Rodney Hood's been playing quite well as well when he's fit.
But he blows hot and cold as well. I think Tristan Thompson's a guy who can give you solid minutes, but he's not someone like you hang your entire franchise around. Like he has too many limitations. Yeah,
he's not an all-round player, so he's not going to be an Embiid star quality. But again, one thing he does very well is crash that offensive board. He does that better than most in the NBA. It's kind of like a DeAndre Jordan type figure there. He's averaging 12 points, 12 rebounds a game, so that's a good efficiency from your 5.
The bong water of the NBA.
The bong water of the NBA. All right, let's get to the last game of the pod. Jazz and Thunder.
No, Jazz Thunder. There's still the Mavs after this.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, Jazz Thunder rematch from the playoffs, and poor George
just he's going well, man.
Pulled it out, slapped it down on the table, and said, "Yeah, match me, boys."
Yeah, and he's having a good season. Steven Adams, man, is the most underrated center in the NBA.
So good.
I love listening to the Steven Adams report, which is just him yelling things at people on the court. It's the best. If you go on YouTube and look up Steven Adams yelling things at people. All right, boys. 5-1, 5-1.
He's so underrated, man. And I think the way, like, it feels like this year, Westbrook, instead of just going, right, I'm getting my triple doubles this year, and everyone going, yeah, all right, mate, if we have to do that, we have to do that. It feels like this year they're like, okay, let's try and win games properly.
Like, I'm just going to facilitate. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take high volume shot. We've got Paul George. We've got a couple of good pieces for that. But I'm going to facilitate, and he's playing really well. And man, the Thunder almost top, I think, in the West at the moment.
Second at the moment,
and they deserve it. They're playing so well, actually playing some good basketball.
Yeah,
it's not just Westbrook going, all right, I'm going to throw it to him. You shoot, make sure you shoot,
or like basically just launching into guys and being like, you better shoot that right now.
Yeah.
And they're actually trying, and I think the more you try and get Steven Adams into your offensive scheme, the better he becomes, man. Defensively, he's great around the rim.
He's just such a big body in the way.
He's smooth. He's a smooth finisher. Put the ball on the floor. He can lay up. He can like drop step and dunk and finish plays. Like, I think if he stays healthy this year, they're gonna be right up there.
I think someone mistook him for Aquaman.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Jason Momoa.
Yeah. He looks like one of my mates too. We always give him shit. He looks exactly like Jason Momoa. Mo yards.
Mo yards.
No. But I'm just trying to look at the standings here just to see after today. Obviously, the Spurs played today, but we're not going to go through that because I didn't get a chance to watch it. They are on top OKC at the moment.
Yep.
Then the Warriors, and then the Nuggets, who kind of found a little bit more form. That's not too bad. But Joe Ingles in this game, man, he just... Ugh.
They're not running offense for him. We can't say that enough.
Horrible.
He's just not getting free. He's kind of facilitated like 5 assists. Why do you need to assist? Why do you need to facilitate anyone? You're a shooter. That's what you do first. I hate for him to come into the Australian team and just try and facilitate.
Well, that's where maybe you can let him facilitate.
You don't want
to. Come to the Aussie team and try and facilitate.
You don't want because...
Not for the Jazz. Like, you got world-class players around you. Like, why are you trying to play make for the Aussie plebs? Like...
Hey, we're not plebs.
No, but you know what I mean. Like you're taking a step down to play for Australia. That's where you can. Oh, okay. I need to be a leader and like help this team.
Yeah.
But for the Jazz, it's like, mate, there's that many players in that team that are individually quality. Like Mitchell, Rubio, they can all create. Just stand in the corner and knock down threes.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to do too much. That's how I feel anyway. Like,
I agree.
And it's affecting his defense too because he's getting trapped in these spots where he's trying to help his teammates out, and then suddenly guys blow by him. Like, Paul George just torched him in this game. Torched him over and over. Like, he put it down on the table and said, right, you and me, let's dance. And he just danced him. Like, but Dante Exum, he came off the bench late. He was basically the main source of their late surge that kind of got them into a respectable position. I think they lost that game 113, 122.
It was plus 16.
I think they were down 25 at one point. But he was just running around their entire defense. Exum, like, what they do is screen high. He'd come from the left-hand side, pretty much run all the way around their entire defense, just lay it in on the weak side. He did it 3 times, I think. That's where I went, fuck, he's gotten quick. Like, wow. Like, if they can harness that, but it's just not. There's little wrinkles in there. He was getting to the line, a couple of assists. It's a worry, man. I'm really worried about that Jazz. They've got to find something. And then obviously Magic and the Mavs. The Mavs pretty comfortable.
We can say that the Magic have cooled down after their Chubb hot start. Yeah. They've gone back into their garbage zone. I think they're sitting in 8th, and I think they're 11 and 14. So 8th spot in the East is 400, and I think
444.
Yeah, I think 15th spot in the West is 500.
556. Yeah, so yeah,
just shows you the quality difference between the East and West, and why Philly, the Celts, Raptors, and Bucks are going to be on 60 plus wins potentially, or 50 plus wins this year. But Harrison Barnes looking good. Doncic had a season high with 11 rebounds, 9 assists.
He's kind of doing everything, man. Like, we talk about him a lot. He's just doing it all. Like, it's really good to see. It's great to watch.
Making that team strong in a strong division.
Vucevic is struggling too, man. I think he had some injury trouble recently, but he's cooled off completely. And Aaron Gordon looks like he's I don't really care about this team anymore now that we're losing, man.
I know they kind of came out a bit hot. You know, got a few good wins. One against Philly, you know, did well, and then they're just like, oh yeah, our Chubb bodies.
Oh wait, we're going to lose now because we can't keep it up.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it.
Yeah, that's about it. I think we've got Spurs that played today, and then when do you think we'll be back?
Maybe
to do some more games on the weekend,
maybe Monday.
Monday, yeah.
After the Kings Dime. Remember to subscribe to the Sydney Kings podcast on the Kings Dime if you are a Sydney Kings fan. We'll be potting about that on Monday after their 2 away trips, and we'll probably wrap up some more games for y'all.
Yes.
And as we move towards halfway, I believe we are going to do another under overs recap.
Yep.
And even some player profiles.
Yeah, half-season looks at some of these players. Because some of our guys are doing really well.
Some of them doing well, but how well are they doing? We're soon going to find out.
Yes. There are some big games coming up for the Aussies. There are, I think, the Pacers and 76ers. That'd be good. Obviously, Christmas is coming too, so I wonder what we're going to do over Christmas. We'll try and knock out something
Indeed.
In the lead up to Christmas, and then over Christmas
we'll do a very Aussie Christmas.
Yeah, there's a lot of games going on, so
yes, the Philly have got a back-to-back. The Cavs Monday the 17th, and
Aussie on Aussie crime, mate.
Aussie on Aussie crime. That'd be good to watch, and against the Spurs the following day. So much Aussie on Aussie crime, and then we got Boston on the 26th, I believe.
Aussie on
Boxing
Aussie crime galore.
Day.
Yeah, anyway, if you are still listening and you're on YouTube, then hit that subscribe button now. If you haven't already, hit the like button, leave us a comment. Doesn't matter what it is, just leave it for us. You can always queue us up on iTunes and Podcast Addict for later, or find us on SoundCloud at Aussies Taking Over the NBA. It is time for us to leave.
It is. Good night, all.
Peace.